It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight, I'm here with
Akusia Oche.
And coming up, over the next 90 minutes, as doomsaw persists, the blame game continues. Tonight, we hear from the power transmitter, that is Gridco, which is now blaming the electricity company of Ghana for the problems. Don't forget that last week, ECG was blaming Gridco. Also coming up, the shocking development at the parks and gardens in cantonments as land guards taking orders from a private developer take over the place and say that the land belongs to him.
His workers and the chief security.
But he said it is your men who were the land.
Which man? These are my ordinary workers. So that myself and my son. I be landers. We look like landers.
They don't look like landguards, he says, but he says he owns the land that was given to parks and gardens since the Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah government of the early 1960s. And later on Eyewitness News, the flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, continues with his campaign. This time around, he's accusing the Akufo-Addo government of vote buying with the provision of free laptops to pre-tertiary students. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Bank of Ghana urges banks to promptly submit monthly fraud reports to curb fraudulent activities within the financial sector.
That's in 50 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations. In the Western region, we are on Premier 100.5, Beach 105.5, and Sky Power 93.5 FM. All of them in Takrady. In Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, and in Ahafo, we are on Hammers Radio 106.5 in Goso. In the Ashanti region, we are on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are on Akwini Radio 96.7 in Kwando and Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohwe. In the Northern region, we are on Dasuma 99.1 in Yendi. In Upper East, we are on Word 88.3 FM in Zuarungu. In the Upper West region, we are on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. And in the Northeast region, we are on Eagle 94.1 FM in Wale Wale. We are also live on YouTube, that is CityTube. We are live on Facebook. We are on citynewsroom.com, and we are interactive. If you want to send your comments to the discussion, the WhatsApp number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. You can also go on Twitter, now known as X, and drop a message using the hashtag City Newsroom. My handle is at Umaru Sanda. You can also send your messages to at City973. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the first one has to do with the power sector. Over the past few weeks, you've been experiencing power fluctuations in your homes and also unstable power supply. Indeed, as I was leaving my house this morning, the power was out. And I'm sure this applies to many other people who left home without power or who fear that they'll return home tonight without power in their homes. We've been asking the Electricity Company of Ghana for a load shedding timetable. The ECG has not been accepting to give that to Ghanaians. The PURC has since ordered ECG to do so. The Minister for the sector, the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, has said there was no need for a doomsday timetable and asked Ghanaians who wanted a timetable to create one themselves. And this has led to many Ghanaians on social media creating their own timetables and circulating them in an attempt to mock the comments of the minister. The ECG last week issued a number of publications, in which publications it blamed the power outages on Gridco, which is the backbone to power delivery in Ghana, the Ghana Grid Company Limited, which has been transmitting power from the producers to the distributor, being ECG. Tonight, Gridco has spoken. We've cited a letter dated March 28, 2024, addressed to the Minister for Energy. And that letter appears to be reporting the ECG to the Minister for the problems that we're witnessing. Sami has been looking at that story. Sami Biafi, correspondent at President. Sami, join me in the studio. Let's share more light on this particular letter. What have you gleaned from the letter?
So the letter is dated 28th of March 2024. It says to the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Energy, Accra, dear sir, the heading non-compliance with load shedding management instruction from the National System Control Center. It reads, we wish to highlight critical issues regarding load management within the National Interconnected Transmission System, NITS, the National Systems Control Center, SCC. The center of the NITS controls operation of all players, including generators, distribution companies, and bulk customers. We note with grave concern the repeated instances where the ECG, or the Electricity Company of Ghana, operation personnel fail to follow load management instructions issued by the SCC. This non-compliance poses a significant threat to the stability of the power grid, potentially leading to 1. Avoidable power outages for customers, and 2. System collapse. The SCC routinely communicates load management directives to the ECG operations. However, these instructions are often neither not effected or inadequately implemented. That results in a decline in system frequency, triggering 1. The operations of the automatic frequency load shedding relays. 2. SCC having to disconnect feeders serving bulk customers to correct the decaying frequency. Specific example illustrates the gravity of the situation. And it says 1. March 21st, 2024, at about 7:59 a.m., the SCC had to take Tafo feeder out of service due to ECG's failure to properly implement load management instruction. This resulted in the system frequency drop to a critical level of 49.47 Hz. March 20, 2024, peak hours. Similar non-compliance by the ECG operations during peak hours forced the SCC to disconnect feeders in Tema, Winneba, Kaswa, and Kumasi. This action was taken to prevent system collapse after the frequency dropped to a concerning 49.29 Hz. The letter continues. When these emergency disconnections occur, ECG publishes customer notices attributing the loss of power supply to Gridco, which is not an accurate description of the current situation. Furthermore, ECG disregard the load management instruction is a clear violation of the regulation, and it states the regulation. LI 1934 Article 9B requires distribution and bulk customers to comply with the operational instruction of the utility, which is Gridco, for the reliable operations of the transmission system. Secondly, the National Electricity Grid Code Article 10.84 empowers the Electricity Transmission Utility, which is the ETU, to issue instructions to distribution companies and bulk customers regarding load transfer, demand management, disconnection, and restoration of load. We therefore bring to your kind attention, Honorable Minister, and seek your urgent intervention to ensure cooperation from ECG with respect to load management operation. Yours faithfully, signed, CEO of Gridco, Engineer Ebenezer Kofi Esi, and is copied to the Chief of Staff, Office of the President, the National Security Coordinator, the Executive Secretary of the Energy Commission, the Executive Secretary of the PURC, and the Managing Director of the ECG. And the letter, once again, Numaro, is dated 28th of March, 2024.
Very interesting, isn't it, Samibia? Thank you so much for joining us in studio with the details of that letter that we have just cited, a letter from the Ghana Grid Company, essentially reporting to the Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, that the outages we are witnessing are not the fault of Gridco and rather the fault of ECG. So let's try and put these issues into perspective for you. So the VRA produces power, Asogli will produce power, Car Powership will produce power. They do not sell directly to ECG. They sell to a company called Gridco, which is the Ghana Grid Company Limited. Now, the Ghana Grid Company Limited will take that power and then send it through the huge pylons that you see moving from, say, the Akosombo Dam or any of the power stations, bringing the power to the Electricity Company of Ghana stations that it orders the Gridco to deploy the power to. When ECG purchases that power from Gridco, that will be the end of the work that Gridco has to do. ECG now takes the power into your homes, into your offices, into your businesses, and sells that power to you. ECG would come for the bills and take the money from you, which money then it would use to pay for the power that it has. That has been the matter. So we have a contract as consumers with the Electricity Company of Ghana, not with Gridco. But Gridco has a contract with ECG. However, they are all in the power sector. Last week, in the heat of events, ECG started issuing some very strange publications. I call them strange because we rarely see publications of that nature where ECG is about to announce a power outage and would say to us that the power outage is being caused by Gridco. So take an instance. On 28th March 2024, the Central Region Offices of the Electricity Company of Ghana issued a statement titled Gridco Outage. And it says the Electricity Company of Ghana wishes to inform our cherished customers and the general public that the Ghana Grid Company Limited has reduced power supply to our Cape Coast bulk supply point, resulting in outages in the following areas, and the areas have been listed. The paragraph that concludes the last but one says, ECG wishes to assure all affected customers that once Gridco turns on supply, power will be restored. Once Gridco turns on power supply, power will be restored. Simply, what ECG is doing in this communication is saying to Ghanaians and customers for that matter that we've had to terminate the power we supply to your home and your business in your community because Gridco has not given us power. We have frantically been unable, we've been trying to get the ECG for interviews on this matter, we've not been successful. Gridco has not been available for comment until this letter that we are just seeing now, which letter is coming from the CEO of Gridco, which letter is now giving us another perspective to this whole challenge that we are discussing, the issue of power outages. Now, the Gridco statement, and Sami has read the statement in full. Let me just highlight a few important points for you. Again, for emphasis, the Gridco is saying that ECG has not been complying with instructions on power. It says in paragraph 2 that it notes with grave concern the repeated instances where Electricity Company of Ghana ECG operations personnel failed to follow load management instructions issued by the SCC, where the SCC is the National Systems Control Center. This non-compliance, according to Gridco, poses a significant threat to the stability of the power grid, potentially leading to 1. Avoidable power outages for customers, and 2. System collapse. The summary of what Gridco is saying here is that it has supplied a load shedding timetable, if you like, or load management timetable to Electricity Company of Ghana. So Gridco says to ECG, on date A or date B, we are going to supply you power here or not. And according to Gridco, it expects ECG to act in accordance to these instructions, but it does not. And the Gridco uses the term non-compliance, which is what it says ECG has been doing. Now, the Gridco statement continues to say that it has been communicating routinely the load management directives to ECG operations. However, these instructions are often either not effected or inadequately implemented, and that this results in the decline in system frequency and leads to 1. The operation of the automatic frequency load shedding, which is what we've been seeing, and then SCC having to disconnect feeders serving bulk customers to correct the decaying frequency. And it gives examples. So Gridco says that on March 21, 2024, at 7:59 hours, that's in the morning, it had to take Tafo feeders out of service due to ECG's failure to properly implement load management instructions. So it's saying that it gave instruction to ECG, ECG did not respond. This resulted in a system frequency drop to a critical level of 49.47 Hz. On March 20, Gridco says that during the peak hours of 2024, March 20, There was a similar non-compliance by ECG operations during peak hours, which forced the SEC to again disconnect feeders in Tema, Winneba, Kaswa, and Kumasi. This action was again taken to prevent system collapse after the frequency dropped to a concerning 49.29 hertz. Now, this is even lower than what happened in Tafo. Now, this letter by the chief executive of Gridco, Engineer Ebenezer Kofi Esienyi, says that when these emergency disconnections occur, which is a disconnection that they have to trigger because ECG does not listen to them, ECG publishes customer notices attributing the loss of power supply to Gridco, which is not an accurate description of the current situation. So such a publication or a similar publication is what I've just read for you, where the Central Region Office of ECG published a notification last week on 28th March and said that the problem was as a result of Gridco's decision not to supply them power or failure not to supply them with power. Again, we've seen other letters from Tema region and also from Accra region of the ECG offices communicating that. For emphasis, Gridco is saying that when these emergency disconnections occur, ECG publishes customer notices attributing the loss of power supply to Gridco, which is not an accurate description of the current situation. Furthermore, ECG's disregard for load management instructions is a clear violation of the regulations. So aside telling the minister that Gridco, ECG is failing in what it has to do, Gridco is also alerting the minister to the fact that there's a breach of the rules. And an ally, a legislative instrument properly passed in 1934, has been stated here, the article properly stated. And again, it talks about the National Electricity Grid Code, which has also been violated, both violations wrong in law conducted by ECG according to Gridco. And so the minister's letter, or the letter to the minister, says, we therefore bring this to your kind attention, Honorable Minister, and seek your urgent intervention to ensure cooperation from ECG with respect to load management operations. So that's a letter from Engineer Ebenezer Kofi Esienyi, Chief Executive of the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, and he copied this letter to the Chief of Staff at the Office of the President, the National Security Coordinator, the Executive Secretary at the Energy Commission, the Executive Secretary at the PURC, and the Managing Director of ECG. So this is a letter that we have cited in public domain. You can call it the continuous blame game. We've called Gridco for some further details on this. They've not been responsive. We've contacted the ECG because the ECG stands accused in this. The ECG has not responded to our request for an interview. It said that it will not grant us an interview as of now. What that means is that we will continue to sleep in darkness, at least for now, until the internal bickering in the power sector continues. So if your power goes off tonight, you may choose to blame Gridco or ECG. Depends on which of the press statements is lying before you as of the time. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Akosia has some other stories.
Yes, let's still stay on the Electricity Company of Ghana because the African Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, has reiterated calls for the privatization of the Electricity Distribution Company, ECG. Now, according to the energy think tank, Ghana's energy challenges are a result of value chain debt, which had been traced to the inefficiencies at the distribution end controlled by the Electricity Company of Ghana. In an interview with Citi News, the Executive Director of ACEP, Ben Boache, says removing government control from ECG is needed to solve the country's energy problems.
We need to privatize it. We need to bring in private investment to take out government control. The problem we have with ECG is government control and poor leadership. That keeps eating away the resource. It's difficult for us to recover the revenue. And therefore, if we're able to inject private capital and private management into the distribution of electricity, we should be able to fix it. If we're able to act quickly to fix the distribution end of the value chain, or which is ECG, we'll be able to avert the catastrophe going forward.
You heard that Ben Boache, he's Executive Director of the African Center for Energy Policy, ACEP.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa see that? And it's Ricky Tika. Hey, Papa! Papa! Oh, Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Recoded to do more with ease. The enhanced GCB mobile app. Download now from Google Play Store or Apple Store for all your transactions. Smooth, safe, and secure. Chale, tap the app. You don't need to have an account to upgrade. GCB mobile app. Recoded to do more. Upgrade your style. GCB Bank. Your bank for life.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. The big story tonight is that the Ghana Grid Company Limited, which is the power transmitter, is accusing the ECG of non-compliance, which non-compliance is leading to the doomsday that you're witnessing in your homes. Last week, ECG had blamed the same company, Gridco, of being behind the power outages that you've been witnessing. The power producers, though, are excited that there's a decision by the president to not supply power to our neighbors who have been buying power from us because our own power is not enough locally or domestically to be talking about export. So those are the key headlines in the power sector as we are bringing you the news tonight on Eyewitness News. Your views have been coming through. Daniel sends a message from Sandema, and he says the ECG should give Ghanaians a load shedding timetable and stop the needless blame games. The recent erratic power outages have negatively affected businesses. Instead of ECG and the Energy Minister to apologize to Ghanaians and expedite actions to issue load shedding timetable as earlier on demanded by Ghanaians, they have rather resorted to politicking and blame games. Next message that is coming through on the timeline here. Hussein Isari from Kaswa Zongo says the light out is too much in Kaswa. ECG and Gridco should up their games. Nutifafa sends a message from Aflao and he says the incompetence of this government, that's the NPP government, he says, will send them into opposition. GM will build the Ghana we all want. General Ortega sends a message and he says it's embarrassing the government succeeded in destroying strategic and vibrant state institutions. If there's no divine order and you take power through dubious means, it will only... Is that even fair? No, I don't think it's fair. I think there was an election in 2016 and we saw the outcome. And there was an election in 2020. We saw the outcome and we went to the Supreme Court and we saw an outcome. So I don't want us to call the election dubious. Eko Ochir in Shai Hills says the hypocrisy, especially at the top, including the very top, that's the Minister of Energy and his cohorts, is what will eventually ditch this country now called Galamsey land, aka Ojakrum. They should continue with the impudence. Send your message to 0549 96 996. 0549 986 996. Let's go on the campaign trail now, shall we?
Yes, we shall. The flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has expressed reservations about the government's allocation of funds to provide free laptops to pre-tertiary students. Now, according to Mr. Mahama, this initiative seems to prioritize gadgets over essential ongoing educational projects. While speaking at a special public lecture at the Wisconsin International University College, John Mahama says it is important to allocate state resources to address more urgent needs within the education sector.
You bring a new curriculum, the children have no textbooks in basic school for the last 4 years, and you think that giving pre-tertiary students tablets is more important. Of course, everybody knows the political expediency. The pre-tertiary students are going to register in May because some of them would be coming 18 years and above, some are 18 already, and they are going to be the ones voting. So this is a gift to entice them to vote for the current government. Otherwise, if you are using 1.3 billion cedis to give pre-tertiary students laptop, our priority would have been different. There are other things begging for funding in our educational system than those laptops. But it's a bribe for them to vote for this government. But the children do not exist in isolation. They live in households and families. Some of them's parents are those who were working in the banking sector that you cruelly closed 9 indigenous banks and threw them all out onto the street. Bankers have become Uber drivers. Those are the same people whose children are in pre-tertiary education. So you think if you give his child a tablet, the child will vote for you after what you have done to their parents? Most of those children go home and their parents struggle to put a meal on the table for them because of your poor mismanagement of this economy. And you think that just giving the child a tablet is enough to buy their conscience to vote for you? I don't think so.
That was flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama.
Former President Mahama there on the campaign trail seeking to be re-elected. The Ministry of Education rolled out that particular policy last week. The president was there, the vice president was there. The one laptop per child, is it one tablet per child? Kwesi Kwatin speaks for the Ministry of Education. Kwesi, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, thank you, Umaru, and a very good evening to you and your listeners.
I know that there's an agenda to digitize, and so there's a lot of digitalization happening. Dr. Bawumia is leading that charge. The minister, your boss, when he spoke, talked about the vision of Dr. Bawumia in digitalizing the space and all of that. But former President Mahama is saying that there are priorities, which priorities ought to be respected. Yes, it is good to have tablets, but you haven't fixed basic things like, school feeding issues. Caterers are always complaining. The allowance you have for children in basic schools is nothing to write home about. You have parents of these children are unemployed because the banks have collapsed and they have gone home. He's saying that you need to fix these things first before you think about putting tablets in their palms. What do you say to that?
All right, Umaru, and thank you once again. For me and for us in the Ministry of Education, our point is that as a people, of course, including His Excellency, the former president, we need to understand the changing dynamics of education globally. To the extent that the education that we are providing to our children today, as I speak to you, is just not an ordinary education, but of course, an education that has a link with socioeconomic transformation and socioeconomic impact on the whole nation. And so it is a more reason why at every point at the Ministry of Education, we have always re-echoed the point that education largely is pivoted on 3 key variables, which has to do with access, quality, and the most important variable, which has to do with relevance. So at every point, the kind of education that you are giving to your people, does it solve problems? Does it train them to be critical thinkers? Does it train them to be problem solvers? Does it train them to be assertive? Those are the fundamental questions that you have to ask yourself. Other than that, the education that you are providing to your people will not be relevant and will not have any impact on our socioeconomic transformation. And so if you recall, for some time now, the Ministry of Education has been repositioning Ghana's education, of course, to meet what is happening within the 4th industrial revolution. And it is even the more reason why, even though this government had promised free SHS education, we have also gone beyond that and introduced STEM, which is something that this government never promised while they were on the campaign campaign. Because within the first industrial revolution, it has become something that is very relevant and something that we cannot just sweep under the carpet. And so, like you even rightly indicated, the whole digitalization concept is a conversation now. It is the order for the day. All over the world, countries that has been able to use education as a basis or at the fulcrum to be able to turn their socio-economic fortunes has been doing that through education. But not just any other ordinary education. Education that is relevant within the fourth industrial space, the fourth industrial revolution. And that is the more reason why we have been talking about STEM, we have been talking about digitalization. So what we are seeking to do as a ministry, which of course we did not even start now, because in 2021, there was no election impending. But the Ministry of Education, as part of efforts to reposition Ghana's education to meet what is happening within the 21st century and the fourth industrial revolution, deployed 350,000 laptops to teachers. At that time, there was no election. Neither was there any impending election or campaign processes. So it is a continuation of that process, the effort to reposition Ghana's education. That is why we are also introducing the smart schools. Of course, the smart schools is not even limited necessarily to those within the senior high schools. It even goes beyond that, up to even the basic schools, primary 1, primary 2. And I mean, interestingly, if you care to know, a school like Kwabena Kindergarten, the model kindergarten, 21st model kindergarten school that we are building, they are all smart schools fitted with the state-of-the-art smart equipment, talking about digitized device, talking about smart boards, talking about Promethean boards. Is the logic that these KG1 students are also going to vote, or we did that also because of political points? Clearly, no. And if you want to place political interpretation on everything that as a government we do, obviously, Mr. Mahama being a politician is expected, but we must hasten slowly when we want to run political commentaries over everything that we want to do for our people. Almost every sector of the economy has been politicized. We've succeeded as political parties to politicize Zoomso, we've politicized the health, we've politicized rules, we've politicized CD. I don't think we should be that very much quick and that fast to also politicize almost everything that is introduced within the education space, because now this is the only thing left.
Are you sure, Gwesi? When did you suddenly decide that we should not politicize these things?
No, but I'm saying that ultimately
you politicize the lack of chalk in the Mahama government. You thought it was okay at the time. Of course, you started politicizing Doom, so again, it's a big deal at the time. You're suddenly saying that Omaru, education should be preserved. We should stop politicizing education.
Omaru, my point is that for how long are you going to continue doing this to us?
But for how long before you got to know that this should not be continuous?
No, Omaru, I am speaking as a spokesperson of the Ministry of Education. I'm not speaking as a politically exposed person.
No, but I would be playing the ostrich if I pretended I don't know you are politically exposed. So
I am
the fact that hold on just a second. The fact that you are spokesperson of the Education Ministry does not prevent you from being a party member, a card-bearing member of the NPP who recently contested a parliamentary primary. So when you veer on the political side of things, it's only fair that I prompt you that you are very much a politician like John Mahama, and you were part of the people who politicized everything a few years ago. And so it's surprising, unless you're saying that you've had a journey to Damascus moment and this time you've decided, let's not politicize things anymore. Then I will start calculating from today.
Omaru, I have never hidden my political alienation. Neither have I ever even hidden the fact that I'm politically exposed. But of course, facts are facts. And I am not sure I can sacrifice, how do you call it? I can sacrifice, for instance, my conscience just in the name of, making political points. Because the fact that I'm politically exposed does not mean that when A is right, I have to call it wrong. No, these are objective realities. Because see, in 2012, Mr. Mahama, embarked on a similar project. If you remember, the RLG distribution of laptops to ICT teachers. At that time, are we also to read meanings into it that it was for political purposes? That's why I brought the narrative that if we look at the deployment of technology to our schools, it is not even only restricted to the senior high school space. Come to think of it, let's even analyze the facts and check the logical consistency of some of these claims that have been made. Even at the senior high school level, largely those in Form 1, Form 2 are between 15, 14 years, who are largely not even eligible to vote. So on what basis would anybody sustain a logical argument that a deployment of technology, particularly within the 21st century, where Africa and as a country, Ghana, we've been left behind from the first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third industrial revolution, we're only at the consuming end. Are we suggesting that just because maybe there is an impending election, all of a sudden, we should deny our children access to these digital devices, which is now the order of the day, and which is now the global trend according to the new changing dynamics of education? For somebody like Mr. Mahama, certainly, I'm not sure he would deny his children access to it. So why should the other ordinary Ghanaians be denied access to it just because we have an election in December 7th? I don't think that should be the trajectory.
Very well.
We should just look into our faces and say that, well, politicians have destroyed this nation enough, and we must just be bold and tell them that this time we will not allow it.
See, because you mentioned RLG, that just pricked my mind. I wanted to ask you, did RLG have any hand in the current project that you are rolling out, the one that was launched 2 weeks ago?
So what I know is that KA Technology, a local Ghanaian company, is the one responsible for this production. That is the one teacher, one tablet, and one laptop, and one student, one tablet project.
So RLG has no hand in it whatsoever.
I can. You are a law student, and until you reveal the corporate bill, you are unable to know the directors and what have you. But I can speak for.
But because you are the ones who have contracted, I'm sure the corporate veil is already known to you, because you would have gone behind the scenes to pierce that veil and possibly know these things, so that when you are questioned, you will be able to answer. Or
but for me, what is most important is that a company in good standing, of course, also protecting our local content aspiration, a Ghanaian company, is delivering. And so far as I'm concerned, that is what I as a ministry, I should be more interested in. As to who has linkages A, B, C, D, the most important thing is that a Ghanaian company has been able to deliver, and it's going to help us.
Before you go, Bernard has sent me a message. He says that, good evening, Umaru. Please ask the PR guy, Orally SHS is a boarding school which doesn't have a dining hall or a computer lab for practicals for students doing elective ICT. Basic components needed for students is not available. I don't have this. I have not authenticated it, but it's a message that has come through. I don't know if it's something you know or not, but what would be your comment to that?
A boarding school without a dining hall, I would have been surprised.
He says O'Reilly Senior High School. Maybe I should ask him.
I would have been surprised, because that would essentially mean that it doesn't even qualify to be a boarding school. And I'm sure, it would have been categorized as a day school. But
actually, I have actually got corroboration that it's actually true that O'Reilly is a basic school, it's a boarding school, and that a dining hall is a tent. There's no dining hall. And that it collapsed recently.
So it's an improvised dining hall. Well, I will speak to Ghana Education Service, Free SHS, and confirm that. And I'm sure whatever intervention that has to be carried out, definitely the ministry should take the full responsibility and do that.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
All right, thank you.
That's Kwesi Kwartin. He speaks for the Ministry of Education. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's go to some other stories. In the education sector, we have, and I like the pun that is about to come out of my mouth, hungry students, or students who are hungry in Hungary. Akosia, tell us a story.
The The Ghana Students Association in Hungary has raised concerns over the prolonged delay in the disbursement of their stipends. The students say the government's failure to provide monthly stipends to approximately 215 students over the past 6 months has compromised their academic performance. Speaking to Citi News, the president of the association, Abdul Manaf Rabiu, says the delay is affecting all aspects of their lives.
As scholarship students, we have a mandate, and that mandate is that at the end of each semester, we are supposed to meet a GPA of 3.0. So students have now been forced to go and work, and as they go to work, automatically it affects their studies, because the very threatening situation here is that in all we are 215, and out of these 215. Half of the number, that is 105 of these students, are undergraduate students. And these undergraduate students are just teenagers. They are just kids who have been left here with their kids. Some of them cannot even do some of the tedious work that is ongoing here. And it's difficult for them at this level because they don't have any work experiences to work in any good. And I tell you, even though we are in abroad, some still reach out to families back home and send them money to take care of them. Another situation is that in September, we received 72 students. And these 72 students, since they came till now, have not received even $1. But I could say that, for the continuous students, even though they are also not being paid for 6 months, to some extent, they have received some stipend in the past. So the worrying situation is about the kids, and they have been left with their fate. And another challenging situation is that this is a bilateral scholarship between the government of Ghana and also the government of Hungary. So for the government of Hungary, they have fulfilled their part. They have done whatever it is expected of them to do. And also on the part of Ghana, they are supposed to give us a monthly stipend of $400 for masters and PhD each month, and also $250 to the undergraduate students each month. But as we speak now, for the government of Ghana, they have not fulfilled any of their responsibilities.
You heard the president of the Ghana Students in Hungary, Abdul Manaf Rabiu.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has reassigned the Upper East Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, to assume the role of the Upper West Regional Minister. Similarly, the Upper West Regional Minister, Hafiz Ben Saleh, will become the new Upper East Regional Minister. The reshuffling was contained in a communique signed by the Director of Communication at the Office of the President, Eugene Ahin. The presidency explained that changes are part of the president's efforts to ensure effective governance across the country and has tasked the ministers to work tirelessly to promote the welfare and development of the people of Upper West and Upper East regions, respectively. So if you're in Upper East, expect a man to cross from Wa into your region in a bit. And if you are in Upper West, expect a man to cross from Bolga into Wa. The two of them are going to be the president's representatives in their respective regions. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Akosia.
Now, the Interior Minister, Henry Korte, has charged immigration officials with carrying out their duties professionally before, during and after the 2024 general elections. Or during a working visit to the immigration headquarters, he urged the officials to fulfill their duties by policing the borders to prevent any intrusion by undocumented persons attempting to enter the country illegally.
We are relying on you to perform your professional duty as Ghana Immigration Service before, during, and after the election. And why I'm saying so is that we don't want any political party to say that, we are being biased as an interior minister. Our duty is to ensure free, fair, and transparent elections. That's why I'm saying if you want to do politics, let us know so we can make an application for you to join the political party. So please, all of you, mind your uniform and work for Ghana and motherland.
Well, the Interior Minister also warned immigration officials against breaching rules to assist their relatives who seek to travel, urging them to desist from such acts.
Men and women wear uniforms only to go and see off their friends at the airport. They pull their bags right from the car, walk them through checking, walk them through immigration, and even security points all the way. When you disembark, you see them lined up waiting for their friends. They take their bags. I have told the CJ, so send a message to them. That has to stop with immediate effect. And I mean immediate effect. We'll send plain clothes to go there. If an immigration officer is found around the arrival hall, departure hall, engaging passengers, seeing them off, please consider yourself that you'll be at home for a long time. And that will be coming from me, not from the CG.
Those were words of the Interior Minister, Henry Korte.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's go to some other stories. And land guards have taken over the parks and gardens lands in Accra. That's a story we have on our website, citynewsroom.com. Actually, not our website. It's on a website called ghenvironment.com. Story by Maxwell Nyagamago. And the story says, days after environmental group Eco-Conscious Citizens blew alarm bells over the encroachment of parks and gardens lands in Accra, checks by the GH Environment revealed that the alleged private developer has today deployed hooligans purported to be land guards to protect the disputed piece of land. A reporter's fact-finding visit to the headquarters of Parks and Gardens at Cantonment, a suburb of Accra, indicates that about 7 heavily built men are currently stationed at the Parks and Gardens to ward off any persons who attempt to enter the area. Acting National Director of Parks and Gardens, Daniel K. Adams, explained that the developer has been identified as Danny Ike Estates Developers Limited, owned by one Reverend Dr. Ezekiel. He adds that containers have been placed on the site by the developer and any attempts to remove them have been resisted by the hooligans guarding the area. There's a quote from him. "We are shocked. This land was given to us by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah ever since the department was established in 1961, and we are surprised that a private individual is claiming ownership of the land," unquote. He said the matter has been reported to the Cantonment Police and they are ready to settle the matter in court to protect the state land. Another quote from him, "I don't know what is happening in this country whereby government land can be taken by anybody anyhow. How can you take Parks and Gardens land given to us in 1961? So what we are going to do is that they should take their container from the land and we are going to develop the place into an event center to generate more money for government." So that is a publication that we have seen on Ghana or ghenvironment.com. This afternoon, Fred Duho of the Citi Newsroom went to the place to interview the new or the claimant to the land, Reverend Dr. Ezekiel. Listen to what happened.
I'm deceased and I'm the trustee. So all I have to do is to protect the interests of the owners, the beneficiaries. So why is it that Parks and Gardens has now come in? And you see, for your information, Parks and Gardens have been sent to court on that very piece of land. And what they are doing is contemptuous.
Okay.
I'm getting those facts and I'll cite them for contempt.
Okay.
They were arrested. And you see, God is good. The ones that were in the case have just got to me from the same story. So now the case has brought more highlights, which ask the Parks and Gardens if they are not in court and been injuncted. What they are doing is contemptuous.
But if I may ask, what's the size of the land in question that you are laying claim to?
It's 2 acres, 2 and plus acres.
So
2 plus something acres.
Okay.
So you see, do the search. When you do the search, you see all the facts.
And for how long have you been in court now?
How long the case was? I'll get you the facts, but I think it shouldn't be more than 3-4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You see, the director, let me give you a brief scenario. When we came there, they had a container on our land. And we asked him, who put the container there? He says, oh, they are the caretakers of whoever owns the land. So I asked him that if that is so, then let me put the container outside. And he agreed to it. And then I asked him to, if you want the container there, you should send me a request or a permission or for consent, which he did. I can send it to you right now.
Kindly send it to me, I'll be grateful.
I will send it to you. So you see, What the director is doing is totally bad faith and out of character. I never believed that at his caliber and title, he will behave as such. He promised me that even if I want to engage him to protect the land for me, he's ready and available. So why would he display that behavior? Using his team and workers at a risk to come and beat me and my son.
Oh, so was it the case that there was a bit of confrontation when they came to the land?
Yes, when I have the video, I'll send you the video. Threaten me that they'll bury me alive. Ask them. They'll bury me. Is this a landadism issue? Why would you bring your staff to come and threaten us and confront us with threats that will kill me?
When I
all on video.
Work on the land.
Yes. And I'll send you in a little while his own text seeking permission that he has conducted a search and is not convinced that the land is for Danny Ike, the company. Then he turns around. Then he displays the show the following day. How? Everything is the rules of this land, is the law. And the law says, prove it with your documents. You have done your search.
I understand he's reported at the police station and then you've been asked to come on Monday. Is that the case?
That is the case.
So you
should also remember, the case pending in court will merge with this one and will cite him for contempt. Inform him that. Him and the guys, I had them on video. They were arrested. Ask him. You ask him. Has he been arrested? Has he been arrested to come to the police station? Ask him.
Okay.
It was only when this news went to air that all these facts are coming to me. And I thank God that the truth has come out. They have been cited. Injuncted. Don't come to the land.
Okay.
How do your bosses and local government, do executive instrument decision? Then you at your level, you interfere. If you want to verify, speak to your bosses, do a search, which you have done. Then you come and say, many people have come here, and all of them, I'm in the military, I work with national security, I can drive them away, I can beat them, I can do this. That is not how you acquire land in Ghana illegitimately. If you want to acquire land in Ghana, and this is legitimate, you don't need land guard, you don't need confrontation. What you need is exhibit your evidence.
So in this case, who brought the land guards to the land?
It is him. It is him. Ask him. He is his workers and his chief security.
But he said it is your men who were the land.
Which men? These are my ordinary workers. Myself and my son. Are we land guards? Do we look like land guards?
So
why should I do that?
In this case, the Minister of Local Government is aware you own the land or you are a trustee to the land.
He wouldn't know. What he will know is the search report that his department has done a transaction. I don't know if he doesn't know me.
Reverend, are you coming to build a church or a company on this?
No. That one is not decided yet.
Okay.
It's not decided yet.
Or apartments?
Oh, we can discuss that private issue. But the most important is a legal document signed by Lands Commissioner. All stamp duties paid in the millions. So
would you mind sharing that document with me? I mean, the document indicating that you.
That one, I need to speak to my lawyer about it.
Okay.
I need to speak to my lawyer about it. But you see, to advise the sole director of Parks and Gardens that as elderly as he is, he needs to display a much more professional, matured behavior than he's doing. You see, people at that level should be people who decide for our nation, not to speak without basis or behave without basis.
So you heard there an interview that was conducted by Citi News' Fred Duho, and he was speaking to one Reverend Dr. Ezekiel, who is claimant to a land which is owned by Parks and Gardens in Cantonment. And so that publication is what led us to go follow up. And you've heard what he said. He said that he has title to the documents, to the land, and it's actually his. He's not there with land guards, but he's there with his workers and his son. So that's the story. We'll be following up for you, and if details, more details come up, we'll share with you. But let's do some news in politics now. You remember the yellow butterfly, the Alan Chamantin movement for change? Well, they've made a major announcement. It appears there's some coalition or an alliance of a sort that they are forming. There's a press release on the letterhead of the movement for change. Ghana will rise again. That's the motto. And it says the big announcement: movement for change, the National Interest Movement, NIM, and other political entities conclude alliance talks. Akosia has the story for us. Akosia.
Yes, so in that letter dated 4th April 2024, it says the Movements for Change, founded and led by Honorable Alan John Kojo Chamantin, and the National Interest Movement, NIM, a political civil society coalition convened and led by Dr. Michael Abusakara Foster, have concluded talks with a number of political entities and individuals to establish a grand alliance and work together to contest the 2024 elections. Or the alliance, named the Alliance for Revolutionary Change, ARC, will aggressively mobilize Ghanaians from across the country, particularly the youth and women, irrespective of their religious, political and ethnic affiliations, in a grand coalition to elect the first independent candidate as the President of the Republic of Ghana. All the alliance will work together, forming an all-inclusive government of national unity with representation from political parties, the business community, farmers, fishermen, labor unions, faith-based organizations, traditional authorities, academia, media, civil society organizations, and other stakeholder interest groups. Well, the alliance will also mobilize consensus towards a national development plan, which will go beyond party manifestos and constitute the blueprint for Ghana's economic transformation. To realize this objective, the alliance will advocate for fundamental constitutional reforms, including, but not limited to, reforms in governance, public sector accountability, management of our natural resources, as well as mindset and attitudinal change in Ghana. The alliance will be launched on Wednesday, 17th April 2024, and it ends by saying, God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. Ghana will rise again. It's signed by Honorable Alan Chamantin, founder and leader of Movement for Change.
Thank you so much, Akosia. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Stay with us, more coming your way.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
There are some classy celebrations that call for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle, up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Akusia Ochre. Let's settle for the details. The Bank of Ghana is encouraging banks to adhere to the submission of monthly fraud reports as it intensifies efforts to combat the rising tide of financial sector fraud associated with electronic money channels in the country. Recent incidents of electronic fraud in the financial space have resulted in substantial losses for banks and payment services providers. Now, this has prompted the Bank of Ghana to take more proactive measures to enhance resilience and mitigate the emerging threats. Speaking at the opening of a workshop with the Committee for Cooperation between law enforcement agencies and the banking community, head of the Financial Stability Department at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Kwesi Osei-Yeboah, highlighted the need for reverse the trends of fraudulent activities.
Banks are supposed to report all fraud cases to Bank of Ghana. Even if nothing happened, you're still supposed to submit a nil report to us that nothing happened within the space. So every month, banks are supposed to submit these reports to us. And from these reports, the fraud that we've identified associated with SIM swap is what I mentioned. So, for us, even if it's one fraud, it's important to us. We would wish, much as it may sound unrealistic, that there isn't any fraud at all. But any fraud is important to us because it speaks to the concerns that consumer would have for the financial or the banking space. So we are always concerned about any fraud at all that happens within the banking sector.
That was Dr. Kwesi Osei-Yeboah. He's head of the Financial Stability Department at the Bank of Ghana. Now, President Akufo-Addo has appointed Joseph Abuabu-Dazi as the acting Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC. Now, prior to his appointment, Mr. Dazi served as the Deputy Chief Executive responsible for commerce, strategy, and business development within the GNPC. He assumes the role following the tenure of Opoku Awiniyi Dankwa, who assumed the position of CEO in April 2022. The appointment of Mr. Abuabu-Dazi is effective 2nd May 2024, pending receipt of the required advice of the Honourable Minister for Energy, given in consultation with the Public Services Commission. Away from that, flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has reaffirmed efforts of making the Ghana ports more business-friendly by introducing a fixed exchange rate to alleviate the plight of importers. This, according to him, will help curb the instances of losing port traffic to neighboring countries. Speaking at an engagement with the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana and other groups in Accra, Dr. Bawumia underscored the need for businesses to have a competitive advantage to ensure growth.
We are going to have a situation where we have the exchange rate fairly fixed over a period, so that the issue of changes in duty, it doesn't help her, because you see, why are prices in the markets always increasing? They're always increasing because people are anticipating the exchange rate will always depreciate. So you have to price forward based on your anticipated depreciation. That doesn't help us. It's inflationary. And so we are going to change the duty structure and go into more of a flat specific duty. Like I said, for the spare parts, if you have a 40-foot container, you know this is how much in cedis you are paying. If you have a 20-foot container, this is how much in cedis you are paying. So you take the exchange rate out of the matter, and then you deal with that. So this is what we are doing. We are going to also make sure our duties in our port by policy cannot be higher than in Lomé. By policy, they cannot be higher. That's our competitor. And right now, there is a lot of diversion of containers to Lomé because ours are higher. In fact, the simplest way to stop the smuggling is to equalize the duties or become lower than Lomé.
Well, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia also pledged his support to make Ghana a manufacturing hub in the sub-region.
The demand is there. So funding this is not something that you're going to fund and then you are losing money, because there is a demand for the product. And so we are going to really, I'm very supportive, whether it's through EXIM or another vehicle. I think if once we have made the decision, and it will come in my manifesto, by the way, that we are going to make Ghana a pharmaceutical hub, but you cannot do it without funding. It's the same way that I want to establish a minerals development bank for the miners, because we can be, a major, mining hub in Ghana, especially for the small scale miners, with some support. But we need a financial institution that understands the business of mining to support them with machinery and so on. But so for me, I believe that once we have made the decision, which I've made, that we're going to make Ghana a hub for manufacturing in this sub-region, and you have to support it with the financial resource.
Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia speaking there. Away from that, the Ghana Enterprises Agency, GEA, has reviewed plans to give the Koforidua beads market to a facelift to boost the local economy and tourism. Or GEA, which is mandated to support and promote growth of micro, small and medium enterprises, will also, among other things, pave the floor, provide a decent toilet facility and also an exhibition center, and set up a crusher at the market. Well, according to the CEO of GEA, Kosi Yanke Aye, he says it will ease their operations and help create more opportunities in the job sector.
A lot of glass is recycled at the beads markets. The recycled glass is what they turn into beads. So that is the raw material. Now, when you go there, you realize that it's scattered around. And because of that, they also don't have crushers. So people are made to take away these glass blades to wherever they are, find crushers, and then do the intervention. So one of the things we hope to set up is actually a crusher that would help crush those beads to help solve and create some of the employment challenges we face. We started this conversation in January. We're having stakeholder engagements now that shows you the urgency of the program. And then as we go along, after this engagement, we'll have further engagements with them. We've given them the list of things we're going to do, and we'll work with them to ensure it happens as soon as possible.
That was Kosi Yanke Aye. She's the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Enterprises Agency. Well, the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry and also Member of Parliament for New Job and South, Michael Otrebefi, said this is a game changer and says he will improve the standards of businesses in the market.
They are going to have crushers to crush the bottles. They're also going to have like a lounge, something like a lounge, an exhibition point where people can even go and see what they have done over the period. These are things that one way or the other helps to improve the standards of business in the market. So I think ultimately it's going to benefit the country. For now, we don't have that mindset. It is not part of the conversation we are having. We believe that the most important thing is that we need to specifically address the issues that they've raised now, and that's what we're going to work on. Every institution of state or agency is trying its best to be able to get something. So let's get the things right, position the things well. I mean, I believe that for now, you need to promote your business. People should know what we are doing, what you do, and it can only be done not through only the traditional media, but also social media.
Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry and Member of Parliament for Newsroom and South, Michael Kofi Ochrebefi. Now, finally, the Institute of Energy Security, IES, has backed a call raised by the Institute of Economic Affairs for expert managers to handle the current instability of power in the country rather than politicians. Well, the power sector over the past month has been faced with criticisms due to the irregular supply of electricity, which has compelled consumers to demand a load-shedding timetable to better plan their lives. While speaking to Citi Business News, a research and policy analyst with IES, Hache Derek Emmanuel, stressed the need for management to handle the power sector.
Calling for experts who are supposed to manage the power sector is always a call in the right direction. What we know is that when there are experts handling the sector, they better understand the in and out of it and what they can do to be able to bring the needed change and comfort to Ghanaians. And so if you have experts handling the sector, definitely you don't expect that there will be any form of political intervention where political hands will be controlling you as to what you should do, as to what you are not supposed to do. Definitely when experts come on board, they bring about innovativeness, ideas, and what they can do to improve the financial stability of the company. Definitely when experts come on board, their tenure of office is more or less commensurable with what they are able to deliver. And so if you're unable to deliver or perform better, you can be stuck at any point in time. And so if experts come on board, all these advantages will inure to the benefit of the company.
Research and policy analyst with the Institute of Energy Security, IES, Hache Derek Emmanuel. And in Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, it was brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan made the big move and dream a reality. I'm Makosia Otre.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Hey, KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
There are some classy celebrations that calls for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. This would have been the time for Point Blank, the segment on Eyewitness News. But we're not bringing you Point Blank tonight because there's a game tonight. Then, like I keep reminding you, we are the only station with the right to broadcast for you the English Premier League. There's a game tonight that you must listen to. In case you can't make it home in time to watch on TV, you want to listen to the commentary live here, which we bring you every weekday and especially weekends on 97.3 Citi FM. Bernard Abekwatri is with the Citi Sports team. and he's joined me. So Bernard, I know that my Manchester.
Why would you say Bernard? You said Bernard Abbey coach, then you say okay Bernard. Why would you say Bernard?
I thought last night I told you that the way you are pronouncing the thing, that's not your name.
See, now you're a chief, so I have to be cautious.
That's what you're trying to say.
Please,
you slaughter a sheep. You.
I thought you were going to say you're going to give
bring
me
one
like
sheep,
10 cows or something.
Masa, you're bringing a sheep to the palace tomorrow, so you slaughter. Bring it to Asuchari Palace, and then we'll discuss it. Your name, no?
Yeah.
It's not Bernard.
It's what?
It's Bernard. It has to be Teo. No one they say you ain't trying to tell. So Teo. So Bernard. Because how can you have two N's in your name?
I don't know, my father. I was trying to find out from my father why he did that.
Maybe the registrar made a mistake. You know, it's supposed to be Bernard. Yeah. That's the proper Bernards that I know. All of them, that's how they are Bernards.
True proper, but if they proper accept. Because I don't want trouble.
So it's supposed to be Bernard, right? Bernard.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be Bernard.
Even the cartoon Bernard is spelled like that.
The cartoon Bernard, I think it's Benard.
Whatever. I'm trying to make a point. Allow me to make my point.
Please make your point.
So I think you know something, and this is something we can discuss later. Nurses at weighing centers have been responsible for people's names being misspelled in so many instances.
True, I agree.
Especially for illiterate parents who bring their children for weighing.
I agree.
Ubani, a friend is saying, then you say Kwansima Alexander. On team spell like Quincyman. So we go and spell the Quincyman and way.
True.
Now that document is what will be used to produce your birth certificate. And that birth certificate is what is given to the school to register you. And then that becomes your BEC certificate. And so you all grow up and your name is spelled some way.
Mine was not misspelled. No,
that's what happened.
My father was, yeah.
Your father didn't go to the weighing with you?
Say?
Did your father take you to weighing? You know, weighing, they hang you under the tree, weighing, they used to do that. Then they'll be swinging you like a pendulum.
Could read and write that time.
No, maybe she was busy. And so she expected that, nurse, no, but
no, what kind of mistake am I making? Please.
Nene, not Nana, Nene. Nene. Look, let's talk about other things. Why are you in my studio?
Oh yeah, there's a big game tonight. It's Chelsea, Manchester United, 7:15.
It's a one-way game. It's United alone. Forget the other blue people.
Because you're a United fan.
Now blue people, who cares about them?
You see, strangely,
Hey. If whatever you're going to say, if it's against United, don't say it. Look, we United fans now.
United are struggling.
United fans Chelsea, right now, we are like 10 times Arsenal fans.
Okay, so you're absorbing all the...
No, we don't have a choice. To be an Arsenal fan, it means you have to have like 5 hearts or,
Yeah.
United
True.
now we have 17 hearts. And out of those 17, 16 are for Ten Hag alone.
What?
No, I'm serious.
Why would you stop this? Look,
bro,
United do not
Ten
have...
Hags.
It looks like United do not have...
We don't have anything. Like United don't have anything. Don't list.
But Chelsea is having something they call a project.
Don't worry.
They're in a project.
United, we will win. That's all.
You're also in the project?
Do they have Chelsea? Do they have a nice anthem?
Oh, now that's the
Glory, glory, Man United.
But that blue is the color.
See how boring the song is. If you go to Jamestown, these two songs, which one will be exciting? At Jama, they are doing Jama Punk.
Oh, that one, United will win.
Glory, glory, Man United. Yeah, so win.
So tonight is a...
So it's not... So you see, right now...
Too inconsistently...
Abeko. Right now, United, no. We don't win on tactical. We don't win on pitch. We don't win from coach. The only thing left for us is glory, glory, United.
You would want the coach sacked?
People who matter more than me, they said the coach should be sacked. He's sitting there like not Ken Freata.
You want to get me in trouble.
He's sitting there. Now me, what would I say? It won't change nothing.
You let me come and do my spot.
But you know what?
When you mentioned that he's sitting there like Ken Freata, it's serious.
You are repeating it for emphasis. Continue. See, Abeku, I think the problem of United is say Alex Ferguson.
Why? He did some bit of, job for 26 years.
And left us in the hands of
David Moyes.
Moyes
didn't have time. Yeah, just like Unai Emery when he was at Arsenal.
Moyes.
Now look at what he's doing with
From Moyes
Villa.
to Van Gaal.
from the transition was poor.
From Moyes to Vangal to Tengag.
To
no, Mourinho.
No, then Mourinho, then Ralph Rangnick. Then there was
just imagine.
I mean,
Ferguson should have said that I am going to. You're leaving United, You leave it in the hands of Moyes.
Yeah.
You don't understand ever. That's why you don't understand what Moyes means.
Well, what does it mean?
Let's leave it here. This is Bernard Abeku actually going to take over next. He's bringing you commentary between analysis.
You're still saying Bernard Abeku actually.
Masa, I don't have energy. I just broke my fast. I can't shout that your Bernard thing. You come on Sports Flash and then you Pakpomingo, you shouting too much energy. People shouting.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's fine.
Apologize to me.
Nene Umaru Sanda.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving you in the hands of the City Sports team, bringing you football commentary up next. Stay with us.